Genetics you can taste, alien infections to fight, and life outside the habitable zone. Starfield is full of mysteries, and as we get closer to launch, I thought it would be best to team up with an expert investigator to review a few of the remaining mysteries. Welcome to a special episode of Starfield Investigations, featuring Luke from Starfield Signal. This is RPGRX. In real life, I'm a pharmacist, but in Starfield, I'll be joining all of you in uncovering the scientific mysteries of the settled systems. In this video, you will see clips from my interview with Luke. After the video, if you want to see the rest, check out his channel via this banner or through the link below. Without further ado, let's investigate.
You had kind of, with some direct and maybe with some other footage, you kind of had some other notes that had piqued your interest and you wanted to talk about. So I'm going to let you drive for a little bit as we kind of navigate through the conversation, and I'll ask questions to the professor as we go.
Oh, very nice. Okay. Yeah, no, not really a professor, just a caveat. But there are definitely some interesting details throughout the direct that caught my eye. NeuroDyne, yes. So yeah, I noticed this really interesting because this type of device, I think, pops up in several different locations throughout the footage we've seen, primarily on any like research equipment that we see in our labs.
Okay.
And interestingly, there's two varieties. There's a blue and there's like the same color as this meal kit here, like an off orange.
Huh.
And I don't know if that's significant or not. It may not be. But just the fact that this thing is called NeuroDyne, I feel like implies that this one at least has more of a medical focus. Like, I don't know. Have you ever played Prey or heard of Prey? They have the neuromods. And I'm like, man, that kind of feels a little bit like that, where they kind of like shoot genes into your eye and you can do all the things the aliens can do.
Yes.
I don't know that that's what this is, but
made me cringe
the
a little
point
bit.
is, oh yeah. But the point is, these things definitely pique my interest because I think not only do they look like other stuff we see in lab equipment, they also look a little bit like the scanners do in the skill logos. And so I think that there could be a couple of versions of these, but I'm curious to see what this actually amounts to.
Okay. Yeah, that's fascinating. Maybe the different versions are, like you said, one for medical, and then maybe your environmental scanner is completely different.
Could be environmental, yeah, or just like maybe like it's helpful for your other research, like your guns and outposts and all that. Who knows? And this is going to be about SynthaMeat. So this, if you zoom in, there's something right in the middle of this packaging. It's got that little DNA helix.
I have not noticed that before. Man, that's awesome.
Yes. So it's really interesting. It says 100% fresh lab made. So which is kind of wild. So it kind of puts into perspective. Made. Yeah.
What is that called? An oxymoron? It doesn't go together.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no. But yeah, so this implies to me that we have kind of a society that's accepted genetically produced meat, because this is like butcher's best, the best meat in the galaxy or whatever. So it's like it's highly coveted, I guess, meat, and it's 100% lab made. So interesting distinctions, because when you think about and I'll go into this a little bit, but when I did my deep dive on Xenofresh and all the stuff with Aurora, we learned that they made more profit off of drugs than off of fishing. And so when you think about that, it makes sense, because maybe this society doesn't need meat as much as, or at least fresh meat as much as we thought. So they can just make the stuff in the lab. Who needs to actually fish for it and ship it across the galaxy?
I've never connected those ideas. That's fascinating.
Yeah. So, and that's not to say there's not going to be fresh food. I think they have like trilobites and stuff right down here somewhere. Like there's, but yeah, I don't know. Those sandwiches we saw getting hoarded, I don't know if that's real.
Or maybe that's the cheese still looked like it was good on all of those too. So I don't know
Hey,
if
if
that's
it's
real
American cheese,
cheese.
then that's not even real cheese anyway, right? So,
Oh, just lie to me. Just tell me it is.
oh man. So yeah, here we go. We get the
Okay.
the actual ingredients for this sandwich. We got white bread, lettuce, cheese, and multi-meat.
Multi-meat.
So multi-meat, that's interesting, right? Like
Okay.
what kind of combinations are we looking here? And then of course they're missing chunks.
Oh man,
So
yeah,
anyway,
don't.
all that to say,
We're
these
gonna be
could be
eating good.
all lab made for all I know.
Yeah, that's interesting. And maybe that's why chef was like one of the backgrounds, right?
Oh my
If
gosh,
if you're
yeah.
if you're gonna be able to make, essentially craft this your food, as opposed to cooking your food, you're gonna be able to craft it in a lab the same way you would an antivirus or something like that. That's weird.
Yeah. Which is yeah, that's actually a really good point. I think the chef is trying to rise above. Um,
Right.
but yeah, no, it goes to show you how far we've made it with genetics in this version of the future. I think that's another point we can point out too is I think, and this has been talked about, but um, the enhanced genetics facility.
Okay.
Um,
Yes.
so we can go to an ad for it, I think, and I think it kind of will kind of show you my point on this. So there's an ad in New Atlantis. So this, yep, enhance. So you see that
Hmm.
logo there, and you'll see that
Right.
again in neon too.
Yep.
But it says, good, young, attractive, fresh. Uh, I can't read all that, but
Yeah.
basically, to tell me that's
I
not
think
the
it says seductive there.
seductive. Okay, there you
Something
go.
healthy, good, young, attractive, fresh. I think it says seductive.
Seductive, emotional,
Emotional, yeah. Beautiful, probably.
beautiful,
Enhance. And
enhance. And
then,
she's looking at that. Oh, funny.
yep. Yeah, she's all up on it, isn't it? I want to be
Yeah.
beautiful. I want to be fresh. Please.
um, yeah. So anyway, my thoughts on this is the character creator. You see in the bottom left corner, there's the note that you can change your appearance in a biometrics genetic
Yes.
facility.
Yes.
And so I think that's what this is. And
Hmm.
to me, it's an extension of this gene editing discussion where you can kind of just go and do whatever you want with your genes. Uh,
Right.
So
That's interesting.
and that's not news probably to some of you out there, but I think just understanding the scope of what we can do with genes in Starfield is just
Right.
fascinating to me.
And how that plays not only a part of like the gameplay where, if you change your mind, you want to look like something different, it also kind of plays into like you're making the point of, I think in a really good way is just the world building and the lore of Starfield and what this future culture values. I hadn't really
Yeah,
thought about it from that perspective before, but everything from, their health, their nutrition to the way they look, everything
their
is
emotions apparently. They might be able to
emotions.
edit their
Yeah.
emotions. That's interesting. I didn't even think about that. But
Hmm.
no, I talk a lot about genes today. Maybe that's a little bit of a theme. But
Yeah.
um, let's go down to I think it's towards the end when we were talking about the creatures. So we're scanning a lot of creatures, and they're talking about, oh, you can, basically collect these plants and animals, and get resources from them.
Hmm.
And they zoom in on this ice creeper, which is some sort of a plant-looking thing on this,
Right.
but it's got this breakdown of the different things. You've got
Hmm.
resource toxin. So toxin, that implies that if that's a resource, then maybe we're making poisons,
Yeah.
I think. And
Yeah.
then,
That would make sense.
yeah, and then so then biomes, we've got, just the mountains, frozen plains, coniferous forests. Obviously, it's a great day for all the ecologists out there. Um,
Right.
but then, so genetics. So here it says standard helix carbon based. All right, so we saw the helix earlier with the SynthaMeat.
Okay.
We've got that little cross trains, and it's carbon based. So uh, if you've ever taken organic chemistry, basically it's an entire field of chemistry devoted to chemicals that have carbon in it. And it's the kind of chemicals that make up all of life as we know it. There's no life out there that doesn't have carbon in it, basically.
Okay.
And the fact that this is listed as standard helix carbon based,
Hmm.
implies that there's stuff out there that's not standard helix or carbon based at all, which fascinates me because
But
that's
that would,
alien life, like
yeah.
100% alien.
Okay. Neat.
And
I
yeah, no,
like
I mean,
this.
I just don't know what that implies because there's only concepts of what we know that could be possible about this. I'm reading a
Hmm.
book by the guy who wrote The Martian,
Okay.
and there's the main character is all about like, oh yeah, aliens aren't going to be carbon based; they could be anything they want to be, and it means that they can live on planets that we can't live on potentially. Um,
Right.
so like very interesting stuff. I definitely recommend Andy Weir if you guys are fans of Starfield. You might like his stuff.
Yeah, lots of people have mentioned like watching Interstellar and The Martian and all this stuff. So that's really cool. Yeah, I love it how your education and your profession kind of gives you this context for, oh wait, this is something of note. And I saw that, I was like, okay, cool. But it means something kind of deeper to you. Yeah.
Yeah.
So with all of the ice or the gas giants and the ice uh, big ice ball planets that we've seen,
Hmm.
we're all kind of assuming, okay, well, there's no life on that, right? It's just resources, iron or whatever. But you're kind of saying, like, well, maybe there's a different kind of life on there.
It could be, or maybe less drastically, it could even just be like, oh, most things can't live on Venus, but maybe some things can live on Venus, and that's still a rocky planet with an atmosphere. But yeah,
Yeah,
that it would explain how there's probably a lot of environments we can go to that would kill us, but they're going to be fine.
right. They're fine. It's
So
it's not a big
yeah,
deal. Cool.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm really interested in the scanning side of things and like learning more about it, and finding creatures, finding flora, finding planets with nothing to offer other than just kind of being there. I'm totally like on Todd's team when I know a lot of people make fun of him whenever he says like, there's something beautiful about, just being on a desolate planet and just, listening to the wind or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, I'm there with you, man. I love going. I'm not a big woodsman, but every now and then when I get to go on a hike or something, I love just being out in the woods and
Hmm.
not having no responsibilities other than just to survive. Like that's very kind of a therapeutic for me, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. Getting us back to our roots. I think there's only one more thing that just I love thinking about the fact that there's diseases and there's a decontamination perk.
Yes,
I think
yeah, we
if
didn't
you
talk
saw
about
my
that.
video, yeah, yeah. So maybe we can go to the decontamination perk. I think it's
Let's do it.
1657.
Um, that was kind of
That right there.
surprising, and I think it got a lot of people excited. Like, oh, that's like a whole other level of game mechanic there.
Exactly. Yeah, I think they're stepping it up from what we've seen before potentially, where we
Hmm.
had just like, you get rock joint or something like that from wolves that bit you randomly in Skyrim, and
Right.
you heal it real quick. It might be the same here. It might be, but what we see here is an entire skill devoted to recovering from infections. Like the
Hmm.
challenge progress is recover from 5 infections, and it slightly increases your chance to recover from infections naturally.
Right.
And that is kind of just like how our immune system works in a way, right? So like
It's
if
the
you
whole Dwight
get
Schrute model.
exposure, that is yes, right. Yeah, you get exposed to different things, and then when you see them the second time around, your immune system's ready for it. So it could be as simple as that. That's what's going on with our physical skill here, which
Right.
is, I think, in and of itself really cool. I'd love to
Yeah.
see what the mega perk is at the end of the skill.
Right. Like what the ranks
Um,
are.
yeah, yeah.
I don't think
But
they go
it
into it.
just, yeah, we see these creatures, so this is going to come up. We see symptoms, so that's going to come up. And I have no doubt that there's going to be a pharmacology, research drug that we can make it like an antibiotic that we can make to help us out with that.
Yes,
So,
absolutely. And to your point, the fact that they have a whole skill tree really committed to this, I think, it would that lends itself to the idea that there's going to be a deeper system here than just one or two little diseases that we could pick up from from a crab bite out by the creek. And we've even
Yeah,
seen footage of different planets or environments that look like maybe this is poison swamp, or maybe this is
sure.
toxins in
Yeah,
the air, and we have to upgrade our suits to be able to filter that, or upgrade our ships to be able to land in certain environments without it eating away
yeah,
at the material or something.
yeah. We have literally an armor stat called airborne, which is different from like corrosive. And
Hmm.
so I think that's probably like a matter of like stuff that we breathe can harm us, and it may be infection, maybe not. But yeah, you're totally right about that.
I love it. That's so cool.
Want to see more? Check out Luke's version of the video at his channel, Starfield Signal. I can't recommend him enough. He's been a day one supporter of my channel and an excellent source for Starfield news. Once you've finished watching his version, come back to my channel to learn more about the Crete creature and the psychedelic aurora. Then, subscribe so we can keep on investigating together. Thanks for watching. I'll see you all in the settled systems. Bye.